But first, the devastated Toowoomba community is marking a year since last summer's deluge sent a torrent of water through the city, claiming 2 lives. The city is dedicating a memorial tonight to the lives lost, the heroes, and those who never gave up hope. Lisa Rolls joins us now from Toowoomba. And Lisa, I can only imagine this will be an emotional night for many.
Bill, it sure will. As with all anniversaries, people will be reliving what happened that day. Now, where we're standing was underwater. The creek built up, it flooded through here, roared through here. This is where cars and people were washed away, and tonight they will hold a memorial service here. They're setting up behind us now. But it will be a nervous night for a lot of locals who head down here as well. I've heard day after day while we've been out here, people saying every time it rains or looks like it's going to rain, they get extremely nervous, and tonight there are storm clouds building above us. So it will be a very emotional night for everyone who comes. The Premier will unveil a memorial stone. They're calling it a stone of hope, and there will be a video message from the Prime Minister. But for the Premier, at least, it has been a busy day. She's been out here most of the day. In sweltering heat, the Premier came to see how Toowoomba has recovered from the flooding rains which destroyed the CBD this time last year.
But you were in here when the water was up to your knees?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we had to get out pretty quickly.
Those who have rebuilt praised not only for their resilience, but their bravery.
Congratulations. This is a Get Ready award recognising the great work you've done with all of your staff since the floods last year.
Having survived, these business owners now have emergency plans in place should what happened on January 10th last year ever happen again.
Hopefully none of us will ever see anything the like of it in our lifetimes, but the memory of it, the scars of it, and the legacy will live with us forever.
12 months on, it's hard to imagine this turned into a raging, muddy torrent.
Some of that footage that people see with the cars churning, that was all in this area.
In this area here.
During the flood, there were 2 cars jammed under this bridge where the Premier is now standing.
Well, these cars locked up in here, dammed up, and it causes a back pressure, just threw them over the bridge and kept them going.
And that's what businessman John McCauley is fighting to change.
And do you want to make Toowoomba safer? Well, yes, of course we want to make Toowoomba safer.
His petitions were in each shop the Premier visited. So far, 4,500 people have signed them. Even the Mayor knows more drainage work needs to be done.
$20 million has been done. We'd like to do another accelerated program of another $20 million, and we need a hand from our colleagues in state and federal government.
Flood victim Andrew Mladen has no doubt the drainage caused his business to flood. This video, which has been seen around the world, was shot from his front door.
Straight across the road and about this high. We had the door shut and the water was up the glass.
He's recovered, but emotionally, so many here haven't, and may never.
I would say to all of us, if you know somebody who was affected, if you have a work colleague, you've got a family member in another part of Queensland, this is a good week to reach out to friends.
Now, Lisa, tomorrow the focus will move to Grantham for a memorial in the Lockyer Valley.
Bill, there'll be a number of memorial services tomorrow, including a dawn service tomorrow at Grantham, and then a much larger service at Gatton to remember the 19 people who lost their lives in the Lockyer Valley. Now, as the Premier made her way here to Toowoomba today, she flew over the Lockyer Valley to see how they are recovering.
From the air, you wouldn't think it's the same region.
The river looks harmless today.
The Premier clearly stunned to see how it's recovered. Over Goodna, where the pedestrian bridge was the only thing above water.
It was hard to imagine when we saw the level of water on the motorway that we'd ever be able to fix it.
To Ipswich, where a year ago only rooftops could be seen. Now houses are rebuilt, shops back up and running.
When having seen it from those first couple of days, you wouldn't believe it was possible.
Flying over the Lockyer Valley, she remembered the people who hung on to rooftops, waiting to be saved.
A lot of the people I've talked to who did it have no idea how they managed it. You know, they got their elderly grandparents up there, they got their little kids. They just said, you know, adrenaline and fear, you just do it.
The Cunningham Highway is all but rebuilt, better than ever. But there are reminders. Grantham will never be the same. Houses are still being demolished, the foundations of others all that's left. But on the hill, a new Grantham is emerging.
But no one had ever seen it come up so fast, and no one had ever seen it come up so high and so dangerously.
These paddocks were an inland sea where cars, refrigerators, shipping containers swirled in mud. To Toowoomba, where the crisis first emerged.
And it wasn't until the words came out of my mouth and I said, and they're doing swiftwater rescues in the main street of Toowoomba, and my brain thought, that cannot be right.
It was, but now it's bustling, just like any regional city should. Leonie Mellor, 10 News.